few hours ago, I watched JD Vance and Donald Trump jump Volodymyr Zelenskyy in the Oval Office. They did it with words, but it was the most shocking display of cruel, callous nonsense that I've seen in my entire life. This happened in front of the entire White House press corps, and minutes after they kicked the press out of the room, they announced to the Ukrainian delegation that they were being asked to immediately leave the White House, and then Trump decided to state that he may halt all military aid to Ukraine immediately. And it was also announced that the State Department was terminating U.S. support for the Ukrainian energy grid restoration project. Since JD Vance's speech at the Munich Security Conference, all of Europe and the Western world has been in a state of shock, reeling for the reality that the United States was abandoning all of its traditional liberal democratic allies and instead orientating itself towards Vladimir Putin's Russian Federation. Today we saw the most clear example and loud ringing alarm bell possible, with Donald Trump not only proclaiming that Ukraine was responsible for the war, but repeatedly condemning and shouting down the president of Ukraine, the country that is currently being invaded, and himself talking up his kinship, friendship, and love for Vladimir Putin and how they have come through so many things together. During one of the exchanges between Zelenskyy and JD Vance, Zelenskyy said Vance should come to Ukraine and see what is actually happening himself. And Vance said something particularly disgusting. He insinuated that if he went to Ukraine, that he would be brought on a propaganda tour, meaning that anything he would see if he went to Ukraine wouldn't be real. And this is deeply scary and deeply shocking because effectively Vance is doing genocide denial, denial of war crimes, things that have been going on and well documented, seen by world leaders around the world. As this interaction was going on, Elon Musk was nonstop posting and amplifying what Donald Trump and JD Vance were doing. All their bullying, minute by minute, seen by tens of millions of people through his social media company. Then Senator Lindsey Graham came out calling for Zelenskyy to resign in Ukraine to pick a new president. And this is incredibly dangerous, having the United States telling and pressuring other countries to change their leadership, because we've never seen that go wrong before. And as this is all going on, there is a meeting right now going on in Istanbul between the United States government and the Russian Federation to reopen their embassies and normalize relations. So while he is tearing up and tearing down Ukraine, he is rebuilding the relationship back with the Russian Federation, stronger than it's ever been before. And of course, all of the media in the United States, for the most part, is parroting Trump's position, and you see it in the headlines across all of the major papers that have already bowed the knee to Trump. And if you haven't been keeping up, Trump has already taken control of the White House press corps. He has hand-selected loyal publications to write only glowing reviews about him, and this is why we're seeing such a warped image of Trump within the United States. Immediately after this exchange between Zelenskyy and Trump, we saw a huge amount of European leaders coming out in support of Ukraine. Now, I don't need to tell you this is all bad, and this once again reminds us that Europe needs to move much, much faster on rearming itself and becoming independent in its defensive capability. We are also seeing, again, people like Keir Starmer straddle the line between Donald Trump and Ukraine. He has not understood the assignment yet that he is going to have to pick a side and pick a side fast, because Trump does not tolerate any disloyalty, and his straddling will be seen as disloyalty sooner than later. I think it's also been incredibly shameful, some of the reporting on this, showing it as a both sides situation, when in reality it was an ambush by Donald Trump and Mr. JD Vance. There is a reason that the last line Trump says is, "This is going to make great TV." And don't fall for this absurd line that Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron actually achieved anything with their meetings. Macron came back and there were still 25% tariffs waiting for us in the EU. And do you really think Keir Starmer got anything out of that meeting other than now having to finance a next state visit for Donald Trump to meet the king? Again, let me remind everyone that boycotting all American goods and service is a vital duty to quickly and more rapidly break the political power of the Trump regime. Do this, tell your local stores to stop stocking these things, and make sure you're stocking more local goods and goods from countries being affected by the Trump administration. And Europeans, we need to be very serious about defending Ukraine and this continent, because we are right now just being smashed between Moscow and DC, and this is not a place we want to live, because it is not a place we want to be. Now please do some engagement, or else nobody's going to see this and I don't get paid. Thank you.